of our nocturnal friends for you guys to meet.
Hello, everyone. This is Pepe, and what is he? Skunk. Exactly, but he's not just any skunk. He's what's known as a striped skunk, and he gets his name from these beautiful racing stripes going down his back. There's also spotted skunks that live right here in Florida, as well as a hog-nosed skunk with a nose kind of like a pig. But what all skunks have in common is the spray. You guys all know about skunk spray, right? Yeah, so instead of talking about it, I think I'm just going to show you how it works. I'm just kidding. I'm saving that little stunt for the end of my career. And it will most definitely happen in a junior high school.
Yes.
Oh, it's going to be amazing.
Yes.
But that spray is the skunk's only form of defense. He can't run that fast. He doesn't have super sharp claws or a very strong bite. So let's say a skunk sees a predator. The first thing that skunk is going to do is throw a fit. Have any of you all ever thrown a fit before? I'm sure you have. So the first thing he'll do is stomp his little skunk feet to say, I am a skunk and I am about to spray. If that doesn't work, he'll even do handstands, waving that tail in the air to really show off the fact that he is a skunk and he is about to spray. And if that second warning isn't enough, well then, he will spray. They can spray about 15 feet, so some of you lucky people are in the spray zone right now. Now, we all know it smells bad, but that's actually not the important part. That spray will get into the eyes and the nose of the animal that's attacking him, and it burns, working like nature's pepper spray, and hopefully getting that animal to leave him alone. Now, we got little Pepe because his mother was unfortunately hit by a car, and when the people got out and saw little Pepe by the side of the road, they decided to take him home. Even managed to get his scent glands removed, which meant that when they got caught, Pepe here was deemed non-releasable. So instead, he was sent to live at our center. Let's give a hand to little Pepe, the striped skunk.
Now, this is Nova, and what is she?
An owl.
Who?
Owl.
Who? Who? I'm kidding, that's my only owl joke. But this is Nova, and she is the great horned owl. Now, this bird here is perfectly set up to fly and hunt at night. Some things that help her. Number one of those eyes. Her eyes are so good at seeing at night that if we turned off all the lights in here, if we made it so dark in here that you couldn't even see your own hand just without light, and we took one little candle, with one little candle of light in the middle of a big area like this owl can see everything about as well as we see right now. That's what her eyes are. But there's a problem with her eyes. Her eyes are so big. Her eyes take up so much room in her owl's skull, they're actually stuck, facing straight forward. If she wants to look to the left, she has to turn her whole head to the left. The left. I'll take it. She wants to look to the right, her whole head turns to the right. That's the first time that's ever worked. And that's why she has that flexible neck and can turn her head how far? Almost one full time all the way around. Now, it's not like the cartoon. She can't go around, around, around. If she did that, her head would pop off. But she does have 7 extra neck bones, 14 cervical vertebrae that allow her to turn her head 270 degrees, almost one full time all the way around. Now, the second thing that helps her out is in her wings. See, she has specialized feathers called comb feathers that break up the wind and give her silent flight. That silent flight helps her out in 2 ways, because as she's flying through the forest at night, she's not only looking for food, she's listening for food. And if she was up there going flappity, 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 she can hear the mice and the rats that are down on the ground. The second way it helps her, those mice and rats, they don't hear her coming. She can make a sneak attack to capture her prey. Now, an owl this size will eat about 3 to 5 small rodents a night. They are a super important part of the balanced nature. They're out there making sure we aren't overrun by the mouse and rat world. But Nova here was flying free about 10 years ago when she made a big mistake and accidentally flew down in front of a car. The person they couldn't stop and they hit this poor bird, shattering her left wing. But they very bravely scooped her up and took her to the UC Davis Raptor Center in California, where they saved her life. But unfortunately, unfortunately, when her hollow bones healed, they didn't heal quite right. And she has just a little bend in that left wing. And just that little bend is enough to take away the gift of flight. She can now fly about 20 to 30 feet. But that's it. And that is not enough for her to fly and hunt on her own out there in the wild. I think she's absolutely beautiful, though. That is Nova. Let's say goodbye to the great horn out here.
This is Disco, our gray fox. Now, we got Disco from a local rescue center that took him in when he was found abandoned as a very young baby. They had intended to raise Disco to be re-released, but the rehabber that got assigned to him did all the wrong things. She loved him, she cuddled him, she let him play with her dogs and her kids, and so when she took him back to that center for release, they instantly realized that she had ruined him. He had lost his healthy fear of people and wouldn't survive in the wild. So instead, they called us. And 12 years ago, we took him in, and he's been helping us do educational programs ever since. Now, Disco is a pretty special little guy. Foxes only live to about 8 or 9 in the wild, and he is 13, so he is a senior citizen. And that's why we brought him to Florida. And gray foxes are incredible creatures. They can scale trees with ease using their cat-like movements, and they are exceptional hunters and scavengers, eating anything from berries and grasses to mice and carrion. Now, Disco here may look pretty cute, but actually, he's very stinky. Gray foxes have a very strong musky odor that he would use in the wild to mark his territory, as well as a personal cologne to attract the lady foxes. But even though he's a bit stinky, we still love him. Let's give it up for Disco, the gray fox.
Now this is Boris, and he is the South American porcupine, otherwise known as the quindu. Now, you guys have all heard about how porcupines shoot their quills, right? So what we're going to do is on the count of 3, we're going to clap one time really loudly. When we clap, he's going to shoot 10 to 20 quills towards the audience. So you guys in the first 3 rows, cover your eyes. Ready? 1, 2, 3. It didn't work. Let's try one more time. Ready? 1, 2, 3. It's not working. You know why it's not working? Because porcupines don't shoot their quills. Those quills are just hair. It's hair that's sharp and stiff and pokey. And when another animal touches them, that's when those needles are left behind. It's not like they're spring-loaded and you can say, fire missile 6 and shoot them out. But even though porcupines can't shoot their quills, they are amazing creatures. In fact, porcupines make up a lot of the world's largest rodents, from the Indian and African crested porcupines that can weigh upwards of 50 pounds and have quills that are over 2 feet in length. Or the North American porcupine, the fuzzy tree climber with barbed quills that we have here in the United States. But my favorite to talk about is definitely the South American porcupine. These quindu have over 30,000 quills covering every inch of their body. Everything except for their feet, that big button nose of theirs, and the very tip of their prehensile or grasping tail. Now what the quindu will do is he'll sit in a hollowed out area of a tree waiting for nightfall. Then he goes on his nightly excursion, traveling through the canopies of the South American rainforest with confidence because of that awesome hairdo of his. But let's say a predator does come near him. What he'll do is he'll shake his entire body like a big spiky maraca, banging those quills together to alert that predator that he would make an extremely prickly meal. And he uses that prehensile tail of his to keep his balance as he's traveling through the canopies of the rainforest, reaching out for fruits, flowers, leaves, or the branches. That tail of his keeps him nice and secure up there in those trees. Now, we got Boris here from an animal production company that was shut down due to a lack of business. So Boris has retired from a life on the big screens to now doing programs with us. But because he was such a big star, that's why he's the only animal in our show that gets his own vehicle. But that is Boris. Let's say goodbye to the quindu.
Those were some amazing nighttime animals, but we're going to switch on over from nighttime to daytime. This is Whizzer, our turkey vulture. Now, turkey vultures get up in the morning and the first thing they do is spread out their big wings and start to sunbathe. He will use his wings just like big solar panels, and once he's nice and warm, he'll take to the skies. Once he's up there, he'll lock out those wings and start doing big, lazy circles in the air. Well, they look lazy, but he's actually working. He's going like this. He's smelling. He's smelling for the grossest, stinkiest, most rotten, disgusting thing that he can find. And when he smells something totally gross, has been dead for a while, he says lunchtime and dives right on in to make a meal out of it. Vultures eat dead stuff. Now, most of us hear dead stuff and think, ew, but if we're honest with ourselves, most of us eat dead stuff too. No one's chasing a cow down the road to chew on its leg. The only difference is vultures eat meat that has so much bacteria in it, it would make us very sick. They're basically like nature's cleanup crew. Plus, because they're always sticking their faces into rotting meat, they have that bald head that helps keep their feathers clean. He's got another way of keeping himself clean, but it's kind of weird. Do you guys want to hear it?
Yes.
If he needs to clean off his legs, he pees on them. Yeah, that's why we named this guy Whizzer. Now, we got Whizzer because about 17 years ago, someone thought it would be a good idea to shoot this big, beautiful bird in his left wing. And because birds' bones are hollow, when they break, they don't always heal quite right, and that's what happened to Whizzer here. He can fly a little bit, but not enough to survive in the wild. Let's give a hand to Whizzer, our beautiful turkey vulture.
Monkeys, they try to make it into pets, and they quickly learn why that's not such a good idea. See, monkeys are set up by nature to be the farmers of the rainforest. They are set up to eat fruits, they swallow the seeds, they squeeze those seeds out the other end in a nice little pile of fertilizer, and they do this about every 15 minutes. So as they're planting fruit trees and people's couch cushions and around the rest of their house, people get very tired of them. Not to mention the fact that as monkeys get older, they tend to get an attitude, people get bit, they get sent to the hospital, and if that's not enough, they find out that these monkeys can live 40 to 50 years. So they get rid of them in all sorts of ways. Whether they get caught by fish and wildlife, or they send them to centers like ours, or other times they just release them into the world, kind of like what happened to Maya here. Now, spider monkeys, they are perfectly set up for life in the canopies of the rainforest. They're what's known as a brachiator, which means they hang and swing through the trees, so she's not set up like other monkeys. She doesn't have that opposable thumb on her hand. She does have one on her foot, but instead she has 4 alien-like fingers that allow her to hook onto the branches so she can swing through the trees as fast as a horse can run on land. She also has the coolest tail in the jungle. Her prehensile or grasping tail is so dexterous that she can pick up something as small as a grain of rice with the tip of her tail. And I see her use that tail for all sorts of stuff. She hangs by that tail, she carries food around with it, she scratches her head with it. Every once in a while I catch her picking her nose with it. I mean, it's the most amazingly useful tail I've ever seen. But when Maya first came into our center, she was not doing very well. She was fed so much of the wrong foods when she was young that she has major health issues even to this day. In fact, she can't even extend her legs fully, which is a big part of why she's not able to live with other spider monkeys and why she's with us at our center. I think she's absolutely amazing though. That is Maya. Let's say goodbye to the spider monkey.
He's truly famous for his voice. They use this bird's call in the background of every single movie that's ever had a jungle scene ever. It doesn't matter if they're showing an African, a South American, or an Asian jungle. They use this bird's call even though he's from the exact opposite climate. He's from the grasslands of Australia, but they use his voice because it does sound like it comes from the jungle. Do you guys want to hear it again? All right, ready, buddy? Isn't that awesome? Yeah. Now, the Kookaburra. He may be famous for that amazing voice of his, but I think he should be famous for something else as well. Because this bird here is an amazing hunter. He's actually one of the largest members of the kingfisher family, but he doesn't hunt fish. No, instead he hunts mice, lizards, and snakes in the grasslands of Australia. I've even seen videos of these birds hunting thin snakes as long as 6 feet. They'll dive down with that specialized bill of theirs. They'll grab onto the snake right behind the back of the head. Then he'll whip it back and forth until it's like a limp noodle. And then he'll start to swallow. Slowly swallowing and digesting that snake over 3 days while the rest of it hangs out the corner of his mouth. Sounds kind of weird. Works very well for the kookaburra though. Now, someone in the US fell in love with these birds and they found a way to purchase one online and brought one into their home. Only this person lived in an apartment complex. And sea kookaburra are known in Australia as the outback alarm clock because every single morning at the break of dawn, they let out that call, that Let's just say the neighbors weren't such a big fan of Giggles here, which is why he was sent to us at our center. But that was Giggles, the laughing kookaburra.
Now, this is Samantha. And what is she? A lemur, exactly right, but she's not just any lemur. She's what's known as a brown lemur. You guys know why she's called a brown lemur? Yeah, because she's brown. Now, if you look at the lemur's eyes, do you think she's awake during the day, or do you think she's awake at night? That's what I think too. With her big, yellow, owl-like eyes, she looks like a nocturnal or a nighttime animal, but she's not. She's actually diurnal. She gets up in the mornings, and the first thing that she does is she greets every member of her lemur family. And how one lemur says hello to another lemur is kind of weird. Do you guys want to see?
Yeah.
Are you sure you want to see?
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to make it sound like a pig. She's going to answer me back. Then she's going to do something rather strange. Are you guys really sure you want to see this?
Yeah.
All right, things I do for an audience. Ready, Samantha?
Ay, qué amoroso.
Did you guys see that? First she answered my pig-like grunt, and then she licked inside my nose. Now I have an idea. If you guys want to know what that's like, how about everybody turn to the person next to you and say, no, don't do this. I got in big trouble with the preschool group because I couldn't get them to stop. It's like their musical handshake. Now the lemurs, they get up, they greet every member of their family. Then they go off looking for food. Now for her, she doesn't want to use the ground. Where she lives, there's Arbasa, a jungle cat-like creature that loves to eat lemurs. There's also crocodiles by the water's edge. So when she gets around, she uses the trees. And how she gets from one tree to the next is she jumps. They're even called leaping lemurs. Do you guys want to see her jump? Yeah. All right, amazing, amazing jumping ability. Ready, Samantha? How's that? No, let's show her a real jump. Come here, girl. Oh, she's cheating. No cheating, gonna do a big jump. Let's go, Sam. A big jump, come on. Woo! You know what? No, that for her, that was nothing. That was barely even a hop. But Samantha here is over 30 years old. She is a fairly old lemur. So I don't ask her to do super far jumps anymore. But when she was younger, in her prime, she can jump from my shoulder and she can land on the table all the way over there. And as she jumps through the air, she uses this big, beautiful, long tail of hers to keep her balance as she would be bounding through the canopies of Madagascar. Now Samantha though, her story is she was found in a man's home in Palmdale, California. Somebody had decided it would be an okay idea to take a lemur, an endangered species, and keep her in a cage in their garage. Now does that sound fair to her? No, I love this girl a lot, but I wish she was roaming the canopies of Madagascar, licking other lemurs' noses. That is where she truly belongs. And there are over 110 different species of lemurs. All of them have two things in common. They are only found in Madagascar, nowhere else on our planet. And every single species of lemur is endangered in the wild. If we don't do something fairly quickly, we can actually lose these beautiful creatures during our lifetime. Now, I'll tell you guys though, because we get to work with all these awesome wild animals, people tend to ask us this one question. They tend to ask us what our favorite animal is. And you know, we love the wildlife. That's why we do what we do. But my favorite animal, without question, without a doubt, is these next two guests. Their names are Basil and Millie. And well, check them out. Come on out here, guys. These These are my favorite animals. I trust them, they trust me. Sometimes they chew on each other, but I know they want to be with me. You have to know, the wild animals would much rather be in nature where they truly belong. Well, like to end each one of our shows with just a few easy things that we're able to do to help protect our wild friends. Things like reducing single-use plastics and recycling, or picking up garbage and keeping our environments clean. Or if you find a sick or injured animal in the wild, get it to a wildlife rescue center. There are literally thousands of places set to give the animals the proper care they need to hopefully get them back out to the wild. Anyways, thank you so much for coming and listening to our rescue tales, and enjoy the rest of your day here at Seaworld, everybody. Thank you very much for coming.